What the CKNW Orphans Fund does is we provide funding for families who can't afford the sorts of things that are required, i.e. hearing aids. Let's say a family just doesn't have an income. They have very little income. The kid needs hearing aids.
And they've got a deaf child.
They can have a hearing impaired child, and they need to have hearing aids. Well, the government doesn't pay for that. And your extended benefits may pay a little bit if you have extended benefits.
Yep.
So we do that. Standing frames is another one that we've done. Wheelchairs, the government will pay for a wheelchair, but they won't pay for a sports wheelchair. They won't pay for, other stuff.
Or one of the really adjustable ones that are required by, for instance, my nephew.
We will assist in paying for emergency dental work, eyeglasses. A whole lot of the money that we spend now is on education. There are kids who aren't functioning in a regular school system. They can't. And they have to go to special schools. And the special schools cater to kids that are having difficulties with learning disabilities. And so we help subsidize those kids. Not by very much, but the Variety Club helps them, we help them. A lot of families have families that help. And the fees for those kinds of schools are, up to $15,000, $16,000 a year. So you have to work really, really hard to get enough money to be able to put your kid in that kind of a school. But I've seen the results from so many children that have gone to those specialized schools that have come out of the school with a fairly good basic educational background and a knowledge.
And
whereas
probably a lot better attitude than they would have otherwise.
And if they'd been left in the regular school system where there isn't the support now in the public school system. I know there's supposed to be teacher aides and all that, but there isn't. It's not as much.
Well, they're taking them all away, and they're taking them because there's no. I mean, the 900 million we've used for
security for the five-ring circus.
Oh, the circus.
Think of how many schools it could have upgraded. It could have provided 12,000 single-room occupancy rooms for all those homeless in the downtown.
We could have taken a tenth of that and armed all of the people who are coming to the games, and they would have protected themselves.
We should give them all
a 22.
Anyway, so what happens with the Orphans Fund is people who are in need will get in touch with the Orphans Fund. We do a means test with them to ensure that it's legitimate.
Yeah.
And then we'll send them a letter. If it's approved, then we'll send them a letter saying yes. Johnny can get a hearing aid.
So they would send a letter to the Orphans Fund on the 22nd floor.
They'll send a letter
center or something.
They'll send a letter to us. We send them an application form. They have to fill out an application. They have to tell us what their tax assessment is. We absolutely do a means test on anyone that we give money to. And then we will give them a letter of approval, and we will say, you can go ahead and have the hearing aid for your son. We will not put money in the hands of the families.
No, they send
we do
the
a
bill,
third.
do a third-party billing.
We'll say, you're going to get a hearing aid, get the hearing aid center to invoice us.
Yep.
And then we get a discount often from those people because they know we're nonprofit.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so last year we spent 1.48 million. And I just did the budget today, and we're pretty close to a 1.2 or 1.3. The one thing that I'd like to see happen that's not happening is more, what really puts us over the edge and what really gives us an opportunity to work with more kids is bequeaths. People who know that they've got all this money and that, instead of just sort of giving it to all their kids, or instead of the government taking it and then them losing it that way, to make a decision to give the money to the Orphans Fund. And even at the end of the year, if you have to get rid of a certain amount of money, give it to the Orphans Fund, because we have a way of giving you a tax benefit receipt for it.
And as David knows, there are ways of doing it if you have, for instance, capital gains on
Well,
tax,
have you actually explored that? Because you know that if somebody has, for the sake of argument, wanted to give you $10,000, and to give you $10,000, they had to sell mutual funds or stock or something of that nature. Let's pretend you have a stock that you paid $1,000 for. It's worth $10,000 now. If you sell that stock and give the Orphans Fund or the Salvation Army or anybody else $10,000, you get a $10,000 charitable donation receipt.
Yes.
But if you give the charitable donation the $10,000 worth of stock, give them the actual stock.
If you give the charity, you mean?
Give the charitable
charity,
donation.
yep.
Give them the actual stock.
They liquidate it.
The stock can still,
Sure.
the charity can still give
Sure.
you the $10,000.
Sure.
And there's no tax on the $10,000. So in the first case, it would be a $2,000 tax bill to me because I sold the stock and then I give you the $10,000. But if I give you the stock, there's no tax bill.
Well, what they do is they give us the stock.
That's right.
They
And
do.
then-
Okay, so you
and
do
then-
know all of that.
And
And then,
that's
and then we have a broker that
Good.
manages it and sells it, and then we get the money.
Yeah.
So you've already got that working.
Yes.
Good, good, good.
But what I'd like to see are more people who are trying to do their wills, and they know
Yeah.
that
Yes.
you know if they give money to the Orphans Fund, it'll be something that'll go to work towards the children, and that's one of the areas where we haven't had a lot of time and
And
lot
here's a
of
leading
effort.
question for you. Just how much of the money that comes in through CKNW Orphans Fund goes to overhead?
Goes where?
Goes to is
Overhead?
the-
Zip.
No, CKNW pays all
I
the
know
fees.
that. I was trying to get you to say it.
Well, no, I mean, and that is something that's one of the reasons why so many people give to us, because they know that we're not burdened with a
Yes.
lot of administrative costs that come out
But
of it.
CKNW pays all the costs. They
CKNW
pay the
pays
rent,
the
office,
administrative
the phone,
costs.
the whole thing.
Yep.
They pay our rent, they pay our phones, they pay the computers, they pay for all of that stuff.
Yep.
So the money that comes in,
It's
it all can go
100%
back to the
back to
If
kids.
the
somebody
kids.
comes in to make out the receipts, and that person gets paid for by CKNW.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, good stuff. Well, I'm not sure how long we've been talking.
We've gone
How
about
long
an hour and 15 minutes.
Have we? And was there something else that we haven't asked you about that you wanted to talk about? Because we got another 2 hours if you want to go. No, we got Jennifer Wade phoning at just
Yes,
about
well,
before 8 o'clock. So
yeah.
we've got, we
So
got
we've got another
another
40
half
minutes.
hour easily to
Yeah.
talk, and your dinner's getting cold, but that's okay. Is there something else? What else? What do you want to get off your mind that you would like to see in perpetuity?
David something.
Perpetuity.
You're
I heard that. I
I'm
heard
the
that.
interviewer.
You're an interviewer,
no.
you know.
Is there something that
I know
something
what
that
you
you wanted to get off your mind in perpetuity? We've talked about sort of downtown. Oh, I know what I forgot all about.
Uh-oh.
'Cause
Now you're
you're
in for it.
No. This is just another thing, and because just another one of the Shirleyisms that. See, people don't always get credit for what they're part of, and there are things that happen that wouldn't happen if somebody hadn't opened the door. You know,
Yes.
there's a butterfly effect,
There is.
and
I
look at
have
the
a
look
clue
on
where
her,
he's
look at
going.
look at the look on her face. Look at the look on her face.
don't know
Well,
where
you know,
he's
we're
going.
You
sit-
realize that we've been whipsawing her back and forth here. I mean, this is really a bad thing to do for somebody.
no, because this is a wonderful woman.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful woman. We're just talking about her as a person. But I was watching or looking last night at the news, and they did a swoop in, and we saw that beautiful green over the new convention center on the roof down there. But, you know, right beside it is the old convention center, and they were doing this to show where the media and so on, because both of those places have been set up for print media and broadcast media, right? I think if I'm not right, the old convention center is the print media, and the new convention center is the broadcast media,
Right.
if I remember right from what's happening. But Shirley, you know, if not for you and Gary and Grace McCarthy, that old convention center wouldn't be there. Because
Yeah.
it was dead. And I don't know if you know this, Richard.
Nope.
It was an absolutely dead turkey in 1981-82. It was not, it was out of there. It was not going to happen.
Nobody was going to fund it.
And
Yep.
NW, when the night of Gary and Shirley, who had this program, and Grace McCarthy got involved, and I'm not sure what came first, the chicken, the egg. I don't know whether it was Gary, Shirley, or Grace, or
The
who
blonde, the
put it
redhead, or
together.
the no hair.
The blonde, the blonde, the redhead, or the no hair. He did that well, didn't he?
Yeah, he did.
That was well done. But you started a campaign on NW on the
We've-
morning show,
Yeah.
and the next thing you knew, we had a convention center. Did you know that?
I always thought it was the Canadian government that stepped up and said, we'll build a pavilion for Expo.
No,
No, that's
not even
obviously
close.
not. No,
not even close.
No.
How the heck did that come about?
Well,
Because
it was obviously it was something that a lot of people wanted, and we felt very impassioned about it, as did Grace McCarthy.
And you had good political connections federally, because you were the federal Liberal and Gary was the federal Conservative.